Alright, so I can talk a lot longer than I thought I could. Um, so just to kind of finish this out, there's other settings. Like I said, the best way to just go push buttons, hit save, see what happens. Um, Eventually, you can get into the SEO. This is what's called search engine optimization, and it helps search engines find your stuff. Um, and then these other things, I don't really know what to do, so I don't ever use them. Background, that you don't really want to manipulate this. This is something that's built into WordPress, but the theme itself has its own controls over that, so it could screw things up a little bit. Although nothing that you do you cannot undo later. um, I'm just thinking about one thing here with pages is they have what's called revision change, and I don't see it here, so I won't show it to you yet. Maybe if I hit update, it might show it to me. And it doesn't. So there's a functionality, you just have to turn it on, of revision change, which means that any edits that you make on a page, at any point in time, you can always jump back to a previous version of it. So don't be afraid to make some stuff and publish things. So we went through the whole appearance menu. We've got plugins here. Plugins are basically apps that people have made that make WordPress do stuff it didn't do on its own. There are all kinds of apps or all kinds of plugins that do all different things. So if you're saying, hey, I would really like the website to be able to do this or X or Y or Z, then then I could probably you can figure out ways of making it do that. You just go to search WordPress plugin shopping cart function, or WordPress plugin PayPal, or WordPress plugin tabbed browsing, or whatever it may be. Somebody's already created it, come up with that idea. Whether it works well and is easy to understand, that's totally different, but it typically does exist out there. And then I can hit add new, and from here I could actually search the different types of plugins that I may be looking for. So I can do that. Then you have your user section here. If I hit all users, it shows me everybody that's a user right now. You can see that you're in there and I'm in there. We're both administrators. Administrators have access to do everything, and then there are different levels underneath that. You can also hit add new. In the add new section, you can go in here and you can add somebody else. Username and an email address is what's required, as well as a password. You don't really need to put a first and last name. That's kind of unimportant. And then okay, and this is why you didn't get your password, because I didn't check this box when I sent it. But then you've got a subscriber, a contributor, an author, an editor, and an administrator. And these just are assembled in, how much access that you have to be able to change and manipulate things. So I usually make everybody an administrator because an editor has some functionalities that are restricted. So I don't really like to use that. And then you hit add new user. As long as you check this box here, it's going to send the person a password, not like what I did earlier. And then we'll give them all the access information that they need in order to get in there. You can also go into this your profile section, and once you're logged in with the password that I had set up for you, you can actually come in here, and if you go to the bottom, you can actually redo your password. So once again, enter it here and repeat it here, hit update profile, and then from then on out, that password will be changed to that. You've got a tools section here. When you add in new plugins and other things like that, sometimes people will embed their settings in this tool section. Sometimes they'll embed them in the settings section, and sometimes they'll even create their own menu on the side for that. Something like the offers here. This is something that was created by the theme. But if you were to put in another plugin, you could get another section that's created by the plugin itself. If you go into settings, we look at general. Right here, site title. You can change the name of the site title where it says my blog up here. It will change it here as well. And then also your tagline. So, this is Sassy Style Boutique for your site title, and, custom-made handbags for the masses, or something like that. As far as your WordPress URL and your site URL, don't change anything on here because it can kind of screw things up a little bit. Email address, this should be changed over to yours, and basically it means that anytime any updates or changes are made to this particular site that are noteworthy, you're going to get an email, or someone adds a comment or sends a message. By default, it comes to this email address. So I'm going to leave mine in there for now, but it would be great if you go in there and change it to your own so that I don't get bugged with all of those things. Membership, sometimes people like to make little clubs of their websites, and you can click this button that says anybody can register. A default role would be a subscriber is what you want. And then you've got these other things that may be unimportant, but a date format and a time format, what day does the week start on, and then hit your save changes button. Over in, you've got a writing section. I don't think I really actually use much of this in here at all, so you can ignore that, but the reading section can be important. Right now, your front page displays your latest posts, and of course, once again, this is something that is established by your theme. So if you leave it at your latest posts, then it will look the way that it does here, and will also look close to the way that it was laid out on the demo that you had viewed earlier. You can change it to a static page, and then, you know, this is exactly what it will always be, that static page at all times. So, but for, I think, what you're looking for, you probably want your latest posts. And then blog pages shown at most 10 posts, syndication feeds, some things that I don't really understand either. And then for each article in a feed, do you want the full text or do you want a summary text? Which means it will truncate the text and shrink it down to a paragraph instead of, you know, the 6 paragraphs that it was. And then give a little read more button. It says discourage search engine from indexing the site. We don't want to check that because we want to make sure that it does get searched. You can go into the discussion section, read through these different things and kind of understand it. In here you can actually turn off comments altogether. And then there's a variety of other ways in which you can manipulate things. Media, this gives us our default sizes. So a thumbnail size is 150 by 150. A medium size is 300 by 300, and a large size is this, you know, 1024 by 1024. These are just general default sizes that you can change and manipulate, so when you upload new content on the pages, you have a bit more consistency on your pages because all of your images are kind of being stretched or shrunk to the same size. And then permalinks, you don't really need to deal with this much at all, unless you wanted something different, but you can look through the different things that are in there. That gives you a basic understanding of that. I'm also going to show you another one, Pixlr, Pixlr.com. This is the one that I mentioned, which is kind of a Photoshop. You've got a Pixlr Express or Pixlr-O-Matic. I tend to always use the editor, but that's just the one that I know the most. So let's say on your blog here, we got this shop style here. I can right click, I can hit copy image URL, and then I can come into here, I can open image from a URL, paste that string that I just copied in there, and voila, I now have that image brought in here, and I can begin to edit it and manipulate it and do whatever to it. This does take a little bit of time to understand and to learn it, but some of the tools are also very basic. This is, of course, a cropping tool. So let's just say I want to just style and not shop. I can easily crop that and take that out. Some of the other quick and easy tools are image size. Right now I know this is 139 pixels by 59 high. It's too big, so I'm going to say I want it to be 100 pixels, and as long as this little box constrain proportions is checked, it will constrain those proportions as I resize. I hit OK, it shrinks it to that exact size. Of course, Control Z will always undo things, almost irregardless of whatever tool you're using. And then the other thing that I tend to use a lot here is the canvas size. So right now I know I want something that is 100 wide. So I set my default width to 100 wide, and I'm just going to say 50 tall. And then depending on what box I check here, will crop things in that fashion. Meaning if I put it in the top, in the middle, it takes off a little bit from the left and a little bit from the right. But I want to make sure that that S in the shop style over here is maintained. So I hit OK. Now this image is exactly 100 by 50. So that's just a way to kind of default set those. And then of course you just file and you can save it. If you have a transparent background, it needs to be a PNG file. If there's not a transparent background, you can use a JPEG. JPEG gets rid of that transparency and fills everything in with white. And then of course you hit OK, and then you can go and upload it to your site. I think that's about it. So good luck. Get in there, push buttons, manipulate things, screw it up a little bit, fix it, and then come back to me and ask me when you got more questions. Alright. I'm going to try to find this thing to turn it off. Oh my god. Fuck you.